Beautiful Seattle, Washington, January 24th, 2017. Whoa. Hey, good people. How you doing today? You know, we don't know as much as we think we do. None of us. None of us. Me included, of course. Because let's think back for a bit. Let's go all the way back to the beginning. We're born. What do we know? Nothing. We don't know anything. We don't have any ideas of what anything is. We're just, can you imagine? I mean, if you could remember back to that and you could like be in your body as a baby, how freaked out you would probably be. What the fuck is happening here? But let's remember this. You knew so little that you shit and pissed your pants every day, multiple times a day. And that went on for probably at least a couple years. So let's remember that to help us stay humble. Because, when you get older, you start thinking you know everything. I don't know, you just think you know everything, me included. But when you remember back to that humble moment, humble time in your life, you think, well, I guess right now I'm probably just in a stage. And what do I really know? Because what do you have to gauge it against? So with that being said, let's talk about heaven and hell. Now, I don't see heaven and hell as say a lot of religions do. I think it's right here on earth and what we do and how we feel, because we control how we feel. That's about one of the very few things we actually control in our life. Well, we control our entire life, don't get me wrong. But how we feel in any given moment is up to us. And there's no good or bad. But when you feel that there is bad, when you feel that things aren't going your way, in other words, things aren't going the way you envision them exactly, or you feel that it's taking away from your highest desires and values, you're going to be in this fearful state, this state of ingratitude. That's hell. That's hell to me. And I do it. I go to my own hell maybe once a day. Nah, probably not. Maybe not that much. But some people live in it every day, all day. And when you're lined up with your highest values and your highest desires, you feel good. You're in a deep state of gratitude. That's heaven. That's the best feeling. In full state of gratitude and love. When you feel appreciation for everything around you. And it's easy to do that when things are clearly matching your expectations. When they're going straight to it, when they're supporting it. But when things come up that challenge it, we tend to not like that. We label it bad. We, of course, become in a state of ingratitude. And that can raise some hell on your mind, your mentality, your body, of course, how you feel. And depending on what the situation is, depending on what matters the most to you. But let's remember when we were a baby, shitting and pissing ourselves every day, not knowing what to do. And remember, you don't really know what the hell you're doing now either. But I'd like us all to live in heaven, in a state of heaven. Gratitude. Thank you. I love you. And best I can tell, how we can do that, I didn't say it was easy, especially since you're probably an adult and you've been through a good amount of life and you have some beliefs that are pretty strong. And by that I mean beliefs of how things are and how they're supposed to be, stuff like that. But if we think back, if we can really think back to times that really challenged us when we were in that state of hell, ingratitude, things are going wrong, all this and that, we think back to that, and the more vivid the better. And then we allow ourselves to see how going through that challenge helped us become who we are. Helped us learn this, helped us learn that, helped us move this way towards our highest value, helped us get over this, helped us go that way, helped us become more and better according to our own values. So what I'm saying is it's very easy to be in a state of gratitude and love when everything seems to be going your way, when you have a tremendous amount of support that is very obvious to you. But when things come up to challenge us, we've learned and been taught, say it's society, say it's your parents, say it's whatever. But when things don't completely support and move us in the way we think we're supposed to go, we get pissed. We get frustrated. We go to hell. And why is that? Well, remember, you're a baby, you're born, you don't really have any idea of shit. So when do we start learning this, what I prefer, what I don't prefer stuff? What's my support, what's my challenge, what's my heaven, what's my hell? We learn it along the way from other people and observations, and we make decisions in our mind, but we watch what other people do. And we think, well, they're all doing it, so that's what you do. And somewhere along the way, you decided that there is a good and a bad, a wonderful and a terrible, a happy and a sad. And there are, if that's the way you want to feel about it. Now, I'm saying all this, I believe me, I feel sad. I feel things are bad, stuff like that. I'm not walking around like some monk, saint, or something like that. But this awareness gives me an entire different perception of challenges and supports. I don't get too over elated with support because it's inevitable. It comes. It's wonderful. I appreciate it tremendously when it comes. Challenges, yeah, it's a challenge still to find full gratitude and appreciation in the challenges. You know, my best friend about almost a year ago now, maybe not quite, his wife out of nowhere, really out of nowhere, best I can tell. I mean, that's the way he reported it to me, and I know the guy, he's a pretty accurate thinker, but in situations like that, who knows. But she wanted a divorce, and now they're split up, and he was going through some real hell, as you can imagine, because his idea is very traditional, if that's a term, traditional for where we're from. We grew up in South Dakota, Midwest, you know. So very traditional American values, you know, get married, have a kid, get a good job, stuff like that. Those are the ideas in his head. And he's married, he's got a kid, and things are just going the way he envisioned it. But then this pops up to challenge him. And that's a hard one. When your spouse comes to you and says, I want a divorce, yeah, I understand. It's hard to go, oh, a challenge. I have complete gratitude for this. Wonderful. Yeah, I understand. It's challenging to say thank you and appreciate this challenge that is presented before you. But think about it. If you look at it that way, what's your response going to be? When your spouse walks up to you and says, hey, I want a divorce, you're probably going to initially feel like someone stabbed you in the heart, right? Something like that. If you feel like that, I get it. So get it. But it's not the only way to feel. It's not how you have to feel. There's no way that you have to feel in any situation. So what I'm saying is, if you really want to help yourself, and I'm saying this from personal experience, I didn't make this up. I mean, I've learned this from the world's leading I don't want to say authorities because I don't like that either, but I don't want to say the world's leading either. People that have dedicated their lives to learning and teaching and researching all of this stuff. I'm one of those people. I'm not the most dedicated in the world. I mean, there's people flying all over giving literally more than one speech a day for an entire year. Can you imagine? They're very dedicated to this, to learning and teaching and sharing and researching and educating. And anyways, how we look at things, we don't have to look at them that way. We don't. We've been trained and accepted that training over long periods of time from, society, teachers, preachers, parents, family, friends, society. We've learned it. And we've really built some strong belief constructs around it. Your spouse comes to you and says, hey, I want a divorce. It's common that you've seen on TV, other people in your real life, etc., about how they generally feel when something like that happens. And guess how you're going to respond? Well, it's probably something like that. And again, I get it. So get it. I've had my heart broken. Never been divorced, but we've all been through relationships, right? But what I'm getting at is, if you can, when these moments arrive, and they always will, is to not judge them as bad or terrible or whatever. Instead, think, whoa, how could this benefit me? How could this be serving my highest purpose and bringing me towards my highest vision of myself and my life and bringing me towards my highest values? What's the opportunity here? In that case, his wife wanted to leave. And I don't know where his life is going to go with this. But I can tell you that he is a very traditional guy. He's quite adverse to change. He likes things to be exactly the same, which I think we're all like that to a degree. I would say he's on the upper end of the scale of that. And for me, sitting outside, since I don't, their divorce doesn't affect my life much, to be honest. It doesn't. So not nearly as connected with the situation, as I know it's all going to be all right. My parents got divorced when I was a kid. And, I know what they did, what they could have done better in splitting up, not, be more mature about it, I suppose. But, so, I was able to help him get through that by focusing on his child instead of himself or his wife. And he handled himself like a champ. Real class act. Because the guy's focused on his kid. And so there's one benefit. He got to grow as a father, which really means the most to him in the world, more than a husband. It does. And I think that a lot of people can relate with that. That your parent duties are probably the top priorities in the world for you. Not that they have to be. If you have a kid, they don't have to be your top priorities. Whatever you don't do or fulfill in your child's life, someone else will. So the parent that works 18 hours a day, and the one that works, and then the spouse that works 0 and takes care of the kids full time, there's no right or wrong way to do it. It doesn't matter if it's the wife working 18 hours or the husband working 18 hours, and vice versa. But it helped him grow as a father, and he still is. I think he always would be. It obviously challenged him to be independent. And who knows what other ways. But he's going to look back at it and see all the blessings there are for him to say thank you. But looking back at it, he still might say, well, I wish we could have just stayed together. Maybe. I don't know. But there's clear benefits that are coming from these challenges that happen. I hope that makes sense. That one took me a long time to figure out. To really understand. And I think I'm still working on understanding it. I think we always work on understanding something more and more. I don't think we ever fully understand anything. I think we can always understand it more and more and more. But in reality, regardless of all the bullshit that's ever happened to you in your life, if you knew you only had 24 hours to live, what would you do? What would you do? I'll tell you what you'd probably do, because it's what most people would do. And I don't just say that from a guess. I've asked plenty of people. They would go say thank you, I love you, to all the meaningful people in their life. And if I really sat down and started thinking about the meaningful people in my life and what they contributed, not just the supporters, but the challengers, the people that lifted me up and the ones that pulled me down. Not that either one's bad. What I'm saying is each have an equal amount of good and bad to them. But they're all there to help you achieve your highest goals and become the highest vision you have of yourself. And believe me, we often don't understand, especially in the moment, how the hell it's helping us. Like I said, the support stuff's easy to see. But then it's really hard to see how the support stuff is holding you back or bringing you down or having drawbacks. You know what I mean? But they'd say, thank you, I love you. I mean, wouldn't you? You'd go to your kids, you go to your spouse, you go to your family, you go to your friends. I'd even go to the people I hadn't talked to in a long time, because if I sat down and I'm going to die in 24 hours, you know? A whole bunch of this noise up here, bye-bye, gone. Your vision becomes very clear. Or you freak the fuck out. Depending on who you are. It depends on how you see the world and how you feel and what patterns and beliefs you've accepted in your mind. But typically, thank you, I love you, and all this other shit just goes away, because you realize none of it matters, and you see what really matters. You would see what really matters. You know, the people that I feel like I hate, I don't hate anybody, that's what I've realized. The fact that I have an emotion towards them, they've benefited me, whether I'm aware of it or not. So what I'm saying is, if we can focus on our awareness of what's going on, which means asking questions that we've never thought of before, asking questions that help us see things we've never seen before. That's how you become aware, correct? Awareness is like, whoa, I'm more and more aware. I can only see this much. Oh, I'm more aware. I'm more aware. I'm more aware. I'm more aware. Holy shit, that's over there? Wow. Thank you, I love you. To every single thing in your life. And if you don't see the reasons to say thank you, I love you, to the situation, the person, the experience, whatever, then ask yourself that question. What here can I appreciate? What here can I say thank you for? What here can I say I love you to? Or who? And if your initial thought is, that's stupid, no, not going to happen, no, I can't, if people die, I can't say thank you, I love you for that. I'd start there. I'd start there and say, you know, what benefited me in this situation? And you don't have to feel bad. That's not what I'm saying. I mean, when people die, they don't give a fuck about how you feel. They just want you to feel good. They don't want you to feel bad for them. Right? I mean, if you die, do you want everyone walking around feeling bad for you and feeling sad? No. You want them to see a purpose in your life and death. So, if you've lost someone, I'm sorry. I understand. But how can you say thank you to that situation? I love you. To any situation. I use these ones because they're the most extreme that I can think of at the moment. Any of them. Any exception you come up with to what I'm saying, ask yourself, well, how can I say thank you, I love you? How could someone say thank you, I love you to it? Because there are lots of answers, and what's funny, not funny, surprising to most, was to me, still is sometimes. is once you come up with a few to this terrible situation or thing that happened to you or this person or whatever, once you actually allow yourself to seek awareness by asking, how can I say thank you, I love you to this? How has it benefited me? Once you allow yourself to come up with a few, it's like momentum takes over and it just rolls. And you're like, holy shit. Next thing you know, you've come up with like 200 benefits and thank you, I love yous, and things to be appreciative and have gratitude for something that you thought was completely 100% bad, no benefit to it ever. It's as extreme as it gets. Because I used to be skeptical of that. Absolutely. I'm like, no, there's no way this person dying or this person getting raped or this or that is good at all. It's all completely terrible, I thought. But think about the terrible things that have happened to some people, terrible things that have happened to some people. And look at the amazing things they've went on to do because that experience changed them, impacted them, affected them. And once it's over, it's over. You know, the longer you feel that sadness and that ingratitude, etc., for it or that person, the longer you keep the experience that you don't like going. So the logical thing to do is make lemonade out of lemons. See, hey, how can I use this? How is this benefiting me? How can this help me? What can I do with this? Where can I say thank you, I love you? And think of as many as you can until you actually feel like saying thank you, I love you to the situation or experience, a person, or whatever. Really think about this. Maybe watch this one twice. Maybe watch this video twice, because this was a hard one for me, and it is for a lot of people. To say thank you, I love you to the bad stuff. There is no bad stuff. It's all great. That being said, I'm not perfect. I run into my challenges. This universe, no matter what, it's going to bring you challenges. And it's going to bring you the ones that are specific to you, that really turn your buttons, that really set off your bombs. But the more you can develop this skill of awareness, because that's something funny about awareness, is once you see something, become aware of it, there's no one seeing it. But you can stay right here forever. But when it cracks a little bit, you're like, oh, I know that's over there and that's over there. Oh shit, there's that and there's that. There's that. Oh my God. And even if this, you can't put this back because you know what's over there. But who's ever taught you that before? That's not a societal norm. We're taught duality, good and bad, happy, sad, tremendous and terrible, support and challenge, benefit and drawback. Those are real things, but they all are equally balanced to create thank you, I love you, support for you, really. I mean, if there's only support really in the universe, it seems, because it moves you to where you want to go. And that's God to me. That's God, grand organized design. Heaven and hell, you're in heaven. You just need to become aware of it. Unless you want to be in hell, go ahead and close your eyes as much as you want. But the more you look around and you ask, how is this benefiting me? What can I say thank you, I love you here for? What can I be grateful for about this thing? And the more challenging it is, the more challenging it is. Which means the bigger the opportunity is for you to grow your awareness, become, well, really more increase your well-being, because it changes your whole vibration. Once you become that person, once you develop that skill, that awareness, you become a more well person. Your well-being increases, your vibration increases, and things just get better and better for you. And the more weight you put on something as being bad, and you hold on to it's bad, there's nothing to say thank you for, this is terrible. Look at me.